going on, everyone? My name is Dominic Delgado. Welcome back to the channel and to another video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Nano Dimension, ticker symbol NNDM. Last time I talked about this company, we were sitting around the $14 range, and at this point in time, the market was still starting to barely pull down, and I said anything below 15 was a steal. We are sitting at 50% off as of today at $7.79. Personally, I did load up more shares as I do see this as a long-term portfolio hold. Some overall things I wanted to go over in today's video was the AME webinar we just had this week. On top of that, the CEO's announcement that he has plans for in the upcoming months and years, NNDM's new technology that they have coming out as well when COVID passes through, and the overall shortage that a lot of these companies have, and how NNDM can potentially fulfill the demand. But before we get into all of that information, if you do like Nano Dimension and want to stay up to date with all the breaking news, go ahead down below and subscribe and leave a like because I do cover this stock pretty often. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. So today alone, we did have an 11% decrease in the share price. Like mentioned, this is a 50% decrease from an all-time high we did see a few weeks ago. So if you are a true believer in Nano Dimension and the products they do give out, this is an overall blessing for you investors. Taking a look at the first article we have for today, so it announces that results of the first AME Academy webinar series. This was held last week on February 23rd as a major success. This 6-hour webinar they did host talked about the RF devices and antennas, packaging, high performance materials, and next generation electronics, photonic curing and additive manufacturing, and integrated light passive components. So with this webinar, there were a handful of different companies. We have Nova Centrix, Nscript, IDTech, Electrotronics, and Nano Dimension. With this webinar, Nano Dimension did go ahead and cover the aspects they give with their company and their chips that they do print. With this, they went ahead and looked at the overview they do see in the future with NNDM. The Dragonfly LDM system is being deployed in a wide range of industries, including academic research institutions, defense, aerospace, automotive, robotics, and biotech. Later in the video, I will cover how all these different sectors in whole can be a great potential for NNDM to tackle into. But we have seen the overall demand for these components has significantly shorted the amount that we can supply, and this supply shortage was an overall cause from the COVID-19, and along with that, the exponential growth we have seen in the past with the EV and renewable energy technology coming out, such as solar panels and windmills and so forth. So when there are these major lockdowns and tariffs that are put into place, when countries are closing down the supply chain, it becomes a big problem for many companies. And with this in hand, a long supply chain, which is longer shipping times and so forth, is more susceptible to a disruption. So with the disruption from COVID, we can see that a lot more manufacturers should start finding suppliers closer to home. And with Nano Dimension's LDM, purchase these machines and keep them in-house, meaning they are not having to wait for these long delivery times, making it easier for other sectors to implement Nano Dimension's chips into their devices. One of the newest things we did see with Nano Dimension, which was a great thing to hear from the CEO himself, on March 2nd, which was this Tuesday, he came out and talked about the overall plan for the LDM system. On top of that, their new machine they already have built and named. He didn't release any of the information on the new machine or when we can potentially see it. The only cues he gave us was saying that once COVID is over, many companies are going to ramp up their electronics again, distributing mass amounts, and this is when NNDM comes in to fulfill the demand for these chips. If you want to go ahead and watch that video with the CEO, here's the link. I'll leave it in the description below. Some other news that the CEO did give us is the announcement of their Q4 earnings. And this is expected to happen on next Thursday, March 11th at 9 a.m. Eastern. So this is going to be right at the bell. So what is Nano Dimension's Dragonfly LDM system? It is a one-stop solution for agile hardware development and innovation circuit designs across a wide array of industries. If we go ahead and take a look down below, you can see they print different types of chips along with different capabilities, either it being circuit boards, coils and inductions, 3D mids, and all these different components can be used in many different sectors. So they have the research sector they are in play with, aerospace, defense, medical, and automotive and industry. So in the research, we can see that the AME opens fundamental new research opportunities without the boundaries for traditional manufacturing. In the aerospace platform, we can see additive manufacturing of electronics solves many of the design challenges. And a lot of these times when you see in these higher tech uses of these chips is due to the density that these electronics are put into place. So when we go ahead and look at a spaceship, there's not much space to put anything on there. This means you need more dense chips that are able to put out the same amount of power than your regular bigger chips. And with technology getting smaller and smaller for the convenience of the people, we tend to see that these chips are getting smaller as well with the more power we have. In the medical field, we could already see they are transforming the healthcare industry. Along with this, there are already so many different companies coming out with new machines and programs that the demand for the overall chips are being significantly increased on a month-to-month basis. And with the increase as well with the EV market and industrial sector, with the rising demand of smart, connected, autonomous, and electrified vehicles, automotive industry manufacturers need fast, reliable solutions to build competitive products using compact electronic components and sensors quickly and cost effectively. So with most of the new cars that are coming out, we know they all have sensors to detect the people in front or behind them, overall making the product safer. And with that, they need a more reliable source to get these products in, which is where buying the LDM machine can come into play. So on top of the surge of electronics and industrial going to EV markets, and we also see massive growth in the solar industry. If we scroll down and take a look at the accumulation in the past 10 years, back in 2010, there were hardly any people with solar. And as of 2020, that has almost 10 times the amount of people using it. And with states like California coming out, putting laws into place saying that new houses are required to have solar panels when built, we can see many other states come out and implement this into the laws as well, which would further increase the amount of people with solar panels. If we take a look at how many different companies there are now for solar panels, there are more than 10,000 companies in every US state for solar panel installation and setups. And with the amount of different companies that are coming out to do these services, this is leading into the falling prices of putting solar panels up. So the more suppliers, the cheaper it gets. But take into consideration the amount of demand that is for solar panels now, which is also going to mean the demand for these chips in the solar panels are going to increase significantly as well. And that's where a Nano Dimension's LDM system comes into play. So like mentioned with California putting into law that all new houses are required to have solar panels, you can see we are the leaders in the solar panel industry. And if other states are to accumulate this law as well into their bills, we can see a significant increase of solar panels around the country. Taking a look at the overall holders of Nano Dimension, we do see that the Ark holding of Nano Dimension has been increasing ever since the low range of the stock. We see this a lot of the times whenever there are big sell-offs in the stock, Ark company comes through to buy more. Their average price around this area was at the $30 mark, and they have been averaging down for the past couple of months to the $4.76 range, with a total accumulation up to 7.2 million shares. So with the overall market and a shortage of chips, do you see Nano Dimension being able to put a foot in the door in many of these sectors? And after COVID passes through, do you think many of these companies will be buying Nano Dimension's new machine for the increase of the chips and for the convenience of their company? For you guys in today's video, if you did enjoy, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.